Okay, welcome to another edition of International Soccer Break. I'm your host, Sahil, here with Rahi and here with Seoul, which means, of course, we're talking South Korea. Normally, Seoul, we're talking about how South Korea got it done in the last minute, zombie football, but, today, not so much.
Yeah, so what I think that happened was that Jordan actually was a doctor, decided to just cure a zombie and kill zombie after all. They did a really fantastic job. I'm actually currently in Bogota, Colombia, and it was pouring, and my heart was pouring, but I couldn't blame because we really didn't perform.
Yeah.
Didn't perform at all. If I were a Korean fan, I would be it would have been painful to watch that game. It was so frustrating because they played like zombies. They never quite got into the game, and Jordan was incredibly smart. Pressed high, the amount of times that Korea gave the ball away over and over and over again, giving the ball away. And you warned us, Sahil. You warned us about those two Jordanian forwards, Al Tamari, Al Naimat. Man, they were Korea killers. Incredible, both of them. And you have to say, Jordan deserved to win this game.
Yeah, despite all the possession, it was strange, Seoul, that they just kept giving the ball back to Jordan.
I don't know what happened because if I look at numbers, we have zero shoot on target. We have zero shot on the target versus Jordan has 7. That does make us wonder, wait a second, what happened? Because we were clearly playing quite hard, but there was nothing materialized. I mean, what I realized is so Rahi and I used to live in the same apartment back in Paris, and we had this dating app called Happen. And we thought this is the app for us. We're gonna become, we're gonna start dating again. Well, that really app was so silent because it wasn't happening. The app happened wasn't happening. And this made me realize, like, wow, it's really not happening. I'm waiting for some kind of magic here and there. But once you are down by 2 goals with the 90 minutes, it's really hard to come back, even with the 90 plus plus mentality, because according to the formula, you can only be down by 1, not 2.
Well, Mr. Klinsmann himself, Jurgen, your good friend, Soul, said himself, maybe we should start every game down 1-0. Well, he got his wish. This time he got his wish once again, but they never came back to life. And honestly, they looked naive. They looked like a team that was out strategized, out coached, because they possessed the ball fine. Jordan was in all the right spaces to win the ball back. Sure, they missed Min-jae in the back. That was a big miss. But they gave the ball away so many times. And I think it was the way that Jordan knew that they could press them and win the ball back. They could sit at times and then collectively press. And they knew once they got the ball, they'd find those two forwards to be able to find each other. And at times, Al Naimat was dribbling like 2, 3, 4 players in the box. It was a very comfortable, intelligent performance from Jordan, and exactly the opposite from Korea. There was no plan. At the end of the game, you had Son picking up the ball in his own box almost, trying to take on the whole team because he thought, man, forget it. I'm just going to try it myself. And then a team and a player that's lost faith in the system, lost faith in the coach. Real questions about what their plan was today against a team they knew would sit back. They knew they'd play this way, and they fell for the trap.
Absolutely. I must also comment how beautifully Altamari has played in that game. He really was pressing, pushing. And in the end, he scored a really beautiful goal. And I think kudos to Jordan. They really deserve to win. And I also must say, I'm a little confused by some of the mistakes that we made. Number 5, He had a really poor back pass at one point. And I'm thinking, hello, what's happening?
And it wasn't the first. I mean, there was poor back pass after poor back pass. Midfield balls lost. Seoul, does Klinsmann survive this?
So we're already talking. So there are a couple of things that, as a Korean, it's hard for us to swallow. So for us, defeat is fine. But he was smiling and laughing, and he said, oh, you have to respect the loss. You have to respect that Jordan has won. Absolutely agree. But when Son is crying and the team is very depressed over this defeat, it's really hard for us to see a coach that is smiling because it makes us wonder, are you in it with us?
Mm-hmm. And no questions. They should beat this team. I'm not. Yeah. Jordan deserved to win today, but on talent, Korea should go and think they can win this game.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. This is what I'm saying. What I didn't understand is across the board, it seemed like South Korea showed up and said, "Hey, we're just gonna waltz through this game," or they forgot that this was a semifinal of the Asian Cup, because the kind of mistakes that they were making are stuff you do in practice. Now, going back to Klinsmann, this is his typical MO. We're US soccer fans, of course, me and Rahi, and we've seen this before. Excuses, excuses, excuses. There's going to be some fantastic excuses that are going to be coming. So I just want to let you know, as a fan of Korea, are you ready for this? Because this is going to be the MO for Klinsmann.
I think we're going to demand a lot of answers from him. So I already read some of the articles in Germany and in Korea as well. They're all wondering, maybe he will be sacked, because it's not the level of performance that we were expecting. I think if I look at what happened to Korea this Asian Cup, is that we never had a clean sheet. We concede a lot, we will score, but we just never had a really beautiful defense all along. So that is going to be the number one thing he needs to figure out in terms of how do we strengthen our defense? How do we also make sure that there's going to be shot on target, not just possession, because possession is possession.
Yeah. And we talked about how they've come to life, shown great resiliency, back from the dead. But let's be honest, Seoul, they haven't played well this entire tournament.
Not with the 90
one
minutes.
Complete game.
That's the thing. The fact of the matter is, like you mentioned just now, yeah, they've had to be put into positions to come back, and it's great that they did. But why are you in that position in the first place? You know what I mean? For multiple games. This is 3 games in a row, including this one, where they've conceded first. So why are you conceding first every single game?
Absolutely. I personally like a super high level of comfort where we score a lot. And for me to have a bathroom break in between, please. I don't want to sit down for 94 minutes or 120 minutes without knowing when I can go to the bathroom. Please let me go.
And remember, think about even last game, they didn't score from the run of play, right? It's 2 set pieces from which they score. So they've really struggled to create clear-cut chances and score from the run of play. It's really not a good tournament performance when you look at it in totality. It really isn't. And with the players they have, it should be better.
So I guess moving forward, we'll kind of finish here. But Seoul, how are people in Korea going to take this loss, and what's going to be moving forward? Because now, the next time we'll see Korea is obviously for qualification for the World Cup, but there's no major tournament for a long time. So where does Korea go from here?
I think that's also the unfortunate part, because Klinsmann in his original plan was to stay in Europe to observe players. And because of the criticism, I believe that he's going to go to Korea and stay there for a little bit. But again, for what? Because there's not much of communication you can do. There are not many matches coming up anytime soon. So I have a hard time understanding when he said he's going to go back home and analyze. What will the analysis bring to the table? So to a certain extent, I'm not really sure if he has his job secured anymore. I think that is going to be the question mark. And I have to say, Korean media is not happy with Klinsmann at all. I mean, I don't think Koreans are happy with Klinsmann at all, because number one, you don't stay in our country as a Korean coach. Number two, with the beautiful team that you have, you didn't necessarily have the tactics that made sense to the team. And third one is that we're not really seeing the accountability piece. We're not hearing, you know what, I learned and I'm going to do this better. But it's almost like, well, we lost. We'll analyze.
Yeah. That's typical Klinsmann.
Very typical. Very typical. And it's funny because sometimes you see a team that has these magic moments and you feel they're destined to win the tournament. That somewhere they'll use these magical moments to come together and then find good performances. But it really went the other way. It was that we were just papering over the cracks. There was time after time they came back from the dead. The zombie football was just masking the fact that behind the zombie shield, they were not really that good. Hardly scary in any way. Not a monster at all.
Well, so that wraps the Asian Cup for Korea. Seoul, I know we would all like to see them in the final, but they're not getting there. Congratulations to Jordan, who will be in the final. So we'll see who ends up joining Jordan in the final. Please continue to keep, watching the channel. We'll cover through the final and just, rest of the Asian Cup. If that's interesting to you, please go ahead and subscribe. But Seoul, I'll leave it to you to say whatever you'd like at the end. We always have to do that. So whatever you feel like saying, we'll turn it over to you.
Cheer us
Everyone
up,
else out
Soul.
there.
Cheer us up.
Yeah,
a
cheer
bit.
us up.
I think I'm fine at the moment. I might cry later, but I really would like to say congratulations to Jordan. And I want you to become the champion of the Asian Cup. Wish you all the
Okay.
best, Jordan. Good luck.
You heard it here. Soul calling Jordan champions of the Asian Cup.